What's up, Internet? Welcome back to the Roottrees Are Dead. We are at the tail end of this, and now we're at the point where we have to just figure out, are these people Roottrees or are they not? We've run into a little bit of issues, though, because we found that the game is actively telling us we haven't found enough information, which is definitely interesting pill to swallow. Yeah. So the biggest question mark I had from the last episode is this, which is the Ronald and Robert Roottree, about them being or not being Roottrees, which I find very weird because as long as Gwyn was their mother, they should be Roottrees. But I don't know. There's a world where they're not, I guess. We're going to have to find more information about them. Still have not found all the evidence, obviously, as part of that. So there's a lot to do still on the table. The comments have been telling me to hit the duck if I'm really feeling stuck, but I don't necessarily feel stuck. I just feel like overwhelmed by how much I didn't see, right? But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff to do. But actually, before I do anything else, I realized that there's an achievement in the game for FamilyDoku, and I've never actually looked up anything in this room on Spider Search, which I probably should have. So I want to just do that quickly too, just in case that leads somewhere. So let's do that. You find a few websites about the Riot Girl subgenre of punk. It apparently got started in Olympia, Washington, when a few women got together to discuss sexism in the local scene, and it's ballooned from there. But of course, you already knew all this already. After all, you have a poster on your wall. How about any of these people? Eunice Montjoy, or the notorious Montjoys. The Montjoys are a popular family amongst armchair genealogists. Researchers have spent countless hours sifting through old records, piecing their story together. You decide you've earned a break, so you reward yourself with a web search on Pip Gittens, your favorite Montjoy. Pip Gittens, 1532 to 1576, a noble, contracted a particularly contagious case of English sweating sickness. In typical cases, symptoms would come on suddenly, with victims drenched in sweat and dead within hours. In Gittens' case, however, he remained bedridden for months, always teetering on the brink of death. His family was amazed when he made a full recovery. Some claim Gittens' brush with death left an indelible mark. From then on, his bald spot was perpetually damp, earning him the cruel nickname Pip the Perspiring. The Perspiring, maybe? I forget how you would pronounce that exactly. Ever since, he always wore a large hat and portraits to cover it up. No credible source substantiates this, however, and in fact, many 16th century men were portrayed wearing hats. In the years that followed, at least a dozen high-ranking nobles in his vicinity died of the disease, and the blame was placed squarely upon Gittens. His name became synonymous with misfortune, and he became a pariah. Most people refused to be in the same room with him. In 1545, when a grand feast was about to run out of wine, the host spread a rumor of Pip's imminent arrival. The party cleared out within minutes. Despite his considerable wealth, Gittens struggled with loneliness. Few dared to even meet his gaze, let alone marry him. Eventually, a match was arranged with the Lady Eunice Montjoy of Bavaria, whose family had fallen upon hard times and was desperate to avoid losing their estate. Lady Montjoy, pragmatic above all, wasn't afraid of disease, but she was afraid of Gittens' reputation, so she put forth an unusual request. Their children would take her family name instead of his, and if anyone asked, he'd claim to be a distant cousin. Gittens was furious, but with no other options available, he begrudgingly agreed. The deception held for centuries, until a monk recovered a lost chest full of stolen belongings, including an original illustrated tree, coats of arms, and a portrait of Gittens before his marriage. The discovery reignited interest in the Montjoy family's genealogy, and Pip was just one clammy footnote in a scandal-plagued and often absurd bloodline. The notorious Montjoys are an endless source of historical drama, and you could spider search them all night, but they're not related to the Roottrees, and you've got a mystery to solve. I love that. Really good. Mystery comics. And then, yeah, like FamilyDoku. Can I look that up? You look at the official FamilyDoku website for information on the logic puzzle book written by Christoph Rogan. there is a post up about the computer version of the puzzles. When we launched the demo version of FamilyDoku at home, a lot of our fans were very excited about our intuitive and revolutionary interface and how clever the initial 5 puzzles were. When we launched the full version, even though we doubled the number of puzzles present, many of our users were upset by the length of the game despite it being available for the comparatively low price of $19.95. We'd like to offer our sincere apology to anyone who felt the game was too short. If you purchased the game before July 8th, 1999, please email us your mailing address and we'll send you a 25% off coupon for the Alphabet Davis book of your choice. As of today, we're making the full game freely available. Okay, FamilyDoku is a series of pencil and paper logic puzzles created by Christoph Rogan, the author of the Alphabet Davis series. They were originally published every Sunday in the newspaper and are collected in several volumes of books. They involve filling in a family tree by following a series of rules. When every name has been placed and every rule has been satisfied, the puzzle is complete. At the bottom of the official website is a marquee that says, "Coming soon, a digital version of FamilyDoku called FamilyDoku at Home." Logic puzzles on your home computer? That sounds interesting. You find a download link and install FamilyDoku at home. Okay. And then how about for the public library? Oh, hello. Christoph Rogan. FamilyDoku is the first of several volumes of puzzle books written by Christoph Rogan. The library doesn't have a downloadable copy due to the large amount of illustrations. Oh, shit. Okay. Welcome to FamilyDoku at Home. Now you, too, can play the addicting puzzle taking the world by storm. You must use logic to place all the names in their correct spots in the family tree. Every puzzle has only one correct solution, and the following rules will dictate who goes where. Rectangles denote descendants of the family, blood relatives. Ovals denote spouses who married into the family. Both men and women can be with spouses. Okay. All marriages are between a man and a woman unless marked with a rainbow. Children's last names are always inherited from their father, even if their father is a spouse. Okay. Siblings have all been named in alphabetical order by first name from left to right. So not by age like our normal one is. Family members with the same first name must follow special generational rules. If men, they must be father, son, or grandfather, grandson. Family members with the same first name as... Okay. If women, they must be mother, daughter, or grandmother, granddaughter. So it's as standard, quote-unquote, traditional rules as possible. Okay. Oh, shit. Okay, cool. So... Patriarch, matriarch. Women... Missy, Bethany, Martha. These two are Poes. We got a Poe. James Sharp. So, So James Sharp is not a last name because it's a dude. Corbin is also a dude usually. Right, it is a man. Oh, right, we have that here. So because of that, there are 2 girls, which is going to be Bethany and Martha Poe. The dad is Rob Poe and Missy. Yep, cool. Okay. Wow, this is dope. Okay, so Susan Umber. So you've married a dude where we have no kids to figure out. There are 3 children that should have a last name of a dad. So Apple, Apple, Sweeney, 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 Apple, Apple. Okay, we got 4 apples. And that would make sense because then it would be 1, 2, 3. One of these would be a female child, so she would take the man's name of one of these other people. So, right. Okay, so... Oh, actually, 2 of them. 2 of them are women. So, Earl Apple is either... Earl or Sam is either the top ones here. Is there anything else about names? So, Sam Apple, Sam Sweeney. Okay, so I feel pretty good about Sam being the... So what if Sam Sweeney... Do I have any other Umbers? No, because that's a woman. Oh, yeah, and they're not in age. They're in... Okay, hold on. So, this is actually hard. So, if Sam is the father with a matriarch of someone, it's not going to be Sweeney. Sam Sweeney. Oh, shit. No, I feel good about the Apple children being all the Apple, right? So then maybe let's just put in Iris Geller because that name doesn't appear anywhere. That name would have died by this point. Now we have Carrie Apple, Gertrude Apple, Earl Apple. If okay, so then I have Felix Opal here that has a child, Gertrude Opal, marries one of the two women, which would be Gertrude because it's in alphabetical order. And because Earl there aren't any other apples, Earl is here not having children. Carrie is here, marries one of these Sweeneys and has two children. Mary Sweeney does not marry. And I guess this could be anything, right? Oh, no, because Sam would be her child because it's grandfather-grandson. Yes! All right. If a father and son share both first and last name, the son must have a junior appended. The pattern continues with the third, the fourth, etc. Okay. Aaron Nicholson. Dean. Okay, so clearly I'm going to say Michael Dean is the patriarch, because then we'll have Michael Dean Jr. And Michael Dean Jr. is got to be here, only because if Michael Dean was here... Oh, I don't think that's actually true. Hold on. Well, Michael Dean has to be one of these two spots, right? How about the women for Dean? So yeah, you're Nia Andre. Nia Dean is a possibility for, but that again, it could be anything, right? It could be women. They must be mother, daughter, or grandmother, granddaughter. Yeah, I mean, so that could literally place her anywhere on here. Tyler Munson means that you're here because then your son is Michael Munson, which means that you're not Michael, you're Michael. This is in alphabetical order, so you are Nia, and then the rest of them are just alphabetical order. Yes! Puzzle 4. Henrietta Lowell. Do I have another Henrietta? No. Ooh, but I have a double last name. Mark Popperlocket, Lana Popperlocket, Winnie Popperlocket. So clearly I have to find, so Prudence Locket and one of these Poppers. Jerry Mark two Mark Poppers, but split by a generation. And then a Mark Popperlocket. Jesus Christ. Okay, so the Q name dies. So that's going to be either here or here. And then I have a Chris Baxter. which, as far as I see, also dies. And because it's a dude, that actually helps us even more. Because if that's a dude name that dies, it means you're a spouse to a woman from this family. Popper, Locket, Popper. So there's 3 Popper Locket children, which technically could be this row or this row. If it was this row, though, then that name would have to be... This would have to be Winnie. That does actually work. But no, I have too many poppers. This has got to be like this. And that would mean that I have a popper with a Prudence Locket. One of these is Popper. Oh, okay, I get it. It's going to be a Mark Popper here. Oh. Yeah. Because they're skipped a generation, so they're not junior. So there's not Mark and then Mark. And because I have 3 Marks, it has to kind of do this. And if that's the case, then that means Steve Popper. Ooh, hold on. No, I could do this. No, I can't. Hello. Oh, I have Jane. Jane marries Chris. Then I have Jerry. They have a child named Steve who marries Angie. Wonderful. Wow, okay. Holy fuck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 children. Wally Hoot Jr., who is an actual confirmed name. Hyphenated names are always created from the last name of both parents with the father's last name first. Oh, I didn't recognize that. Oh, did it say that on the last one? Shit. Well, okay. Father's last name first, huh? Okay, so I have Owl Monroe times 2. Do I have another one? 3. Okay, so this would be Amy, David, Rod. And then that means I have an Owl as the dad and Monroe as the woman. So that's Claudia Monroe. I don't have enough of Monroes. Yeah, that works. Twain. I have a lot of Owl. Obviously, these are goofy for the sense of being goofy. I have Laura Twain, Margaret Vaughn, Rappaport. 2 Hoots, though. I have Wally Hoot and a Mandy Hoot. Oh, you're Wally Hoot Jr., so you're coming from Wally Hoot. Oh, but that's tough. If a father and son share both first and last name, the son... Oh, because Wally Hoot is not this... Because then that would be siblings and I don't have enough of them. You're married to an Owl family person, probably Alicia, because you're the first in the alphabet. Then what? So then I have Bob, Eric, no, because then Eric would be... I need an Eric Owl Jr., so who the hell goes here? Oh, oh, shit. Margaret? Oh, unless Eric is here. This is Eric Owl Jr. Then I have Quincy and Wilbur, kind of. Margaret has to swap in there, too. Oh, but I have a Margaret Vaughn also. So Margaret Vaughn might be here. So, right. So Wilbur comes out. Take Quincy out too, actually. Let's do Margaret Owl marries... Oh, but then you wouldn't be Margaret Vaughn. Unless you're Margaret Vaughn. Yeah. Okay, so Eric Owl marries Margaret Vaughn. They have a Margaret as a daughter. They also have an Eric as a son, so that's a junior. You just share a name. You're going to have either Quincy or Wilbur as a son. Alicia Rappaport. Oh, you need Mandy Hoot. That's... Sorry, I didn't catch that one. Okay, now you have... Where did I mess this up? Owl Monroe, I feel pretty good about those. Okay, how about Laura? So if Laura... Yeah, Margaret has to marry a dude, but there aren't enough dudes. So if that's not the case, then Margaret's here. But that can't happen. Because they have to be in alphabetical order. Hold on. I might reset this one. Let's just skip it. Let's go to the next one. If a father has a hyphenated last name, only the first part of the last name will be passed down to his children. Oh, fuck. Okay, so I see Roberts. I don't see Ash. So there's a world where Hank Roberts Ash is the top. He passes it along to his 3 kids, which is Nancy, Patrick, Sarah. Crystal Womack would be your wife. Oh, but no, but then you'd be taking his name Roberts, and I can't have that. Okay, so what if it's the reverse? What if it's this? What if it's Nancy, Patrick, Sarah? This comes down 1. But that doesn't make sense either, because then I'd need your parents to be Roberts Ash. Yeah, because I don't have an Ash here, I think you have to be... Oh, but you could be this person and marry a daughter. And in that case, you're Louise. You've married a Crystal. Patrick can be the patriarch because it's this, which means this goes like this. Yeah, okay, these are tricky. With the hyphenated names especially, that makes things much tougher. Chad Hamilton, Morty Hamilton Horn Jr., Christy, Angela Christie, Sophie Davis, Trisha Hamilton, Horn, Sloan. Okay. So I have 3 children, so it's probably the Horn children to start. Horn, Hamilton Horn. So So Trisha Hamilton married either Carlton or Marcus, and their son is Morty Hamilton Horn. Now, the trick, though, is can Morty have a son or a daughter that's Hamilton? So, right, so if I had Trisha Hamilton marrying Carlton Horn, for example, or the other way around, and this is... Oh, no, Hamilton has to be... Oh, this is weird. Hold on, wait. Hamilton Horn means that the dad's name has to be first. So if you're that, if you said like Rachel, for example, then we do this. Morty Hamilton Horn, but then has another Hamilton as a daughter. Oh, and it could be Trisha. That actually works. Okay, and now how about Horns? Other Horns. So we have a Marcus Horn Jr. If that was the case, that would be Marcus Horn Jr. I have 2 more Horns. In order for that to work, I would need Carlton and Angela. Angela Christie could be your mother, and Sophie Davis. Wonderful. Moving on. We have a gay relationship. If a father and a son share the both... In the case of adoption, the child's last name will always be passed down from the rectangle above them. The child's last name will always be passed down from the rectangle above them, not the spouse. Okay. Will always be passed down from the... So, from the rectangle, not from the father. Good to know. We have a Larry Chung... Three generations of Larry Chung. I have 2 Carltons here. 3 Pews. I could technically go up to as much as 5 Pews here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's already looking strong. Kara Singleton. Christine Chung. Jess Ibarra. Do I have another Jess? No. Okay. But I need a dude. I mean, theoretically, Larry Chung. I need someone with 3 children. Maybe it's one of the Pews, actually. If this is the Pew family patriarch, then that means you would have had to marry a Larry Chung. Larry Chung Jr. is here, and Larry Chung III is here. This is a woman. You would have had to marry a woman, which is Christine. Yes. Oh, no, not Christine Chung. Hello. It could be Amy, Francine. Probably not Amy because Amy would have to be the first one. It would have to be Francine then. Francine Pugh, which puts that any one of the guy names at the end here. And actually, it forces Amy Pugh to be here. I have 2 Carltons, which could be this little piece. I have a Toby Pugh and a Toby Patton. I don't have another Patton, though. Right? No other Patton? Okay, so what does that mean? Child's last name will always be passed down from the ring above them. So yeah, I have no other Patton. So this is the end of a line. Toby Patton? What does that mean? Oh, I know where it is. It's this. Toby Patton is the... Oh, but does that work? I don't think that works. Hold on. Oh, but they're a gay relationship. Duh. Okay, so... Right, so either Mark or Steve is a gay man married to Toby. And I'm gonna... Oh, God. Christine Chung is probably you. You could have married Kara Singleton. Mark Carlton, Chase Carlton, Mark? Nope. Oh, duh, yeah, you can't. Hello. Reset. Hard stuff. Oh, shit. I just want to... Wow, this is crazy. Hold on, I'm just going to exit out for a second. I wasn't expecting to be so anti-root tree today, but I kind of am. This is fun. Let's continue solving. Also, I just want to check Secret Searcher, Alphabet Davis, Secret Searcher. As a reminder, these books are not related to your investigation into the Roottrees in any way. In Secret Searcher, Alphabet, in his late 20s, is introduced as the next owner of Martin's of Maine, a small seafood company that has been the family business for multiple generations. Before that, Alphabet's lineage could be traced back to the notable pirate Captain Deadheart. Alphabet daydreams about those days often, even though he's stuck on a simple fishing boat collecting lobster traps instead of treasure chests. Holy shit! This is crazy! While Alphabet captains Martin's of Maine's largest ship, his father, a widower, runs things in the office. To his father's chagrin, Alphabet, who has always had all the negative qualities of his late mother who died during childbirth. This is fucking nuts. I don't even know if I necessarily need... Well, I clearly don't need to read this, but I'm curious to know... Are all of them written out like that? Reversus? Okay, so we're just a big fan of this insane amount of coverage. Okay, let's see. And then I have ends and beginnings and the erased names of the Genesis. The fourth and currently final book. And then... ends and... Nice. Okay, that's funny. I'm curious to know if this is like a hint as to what he's doing next, like what the next project is. Because I would play an Alphabet Davis game. That sounds like fun. Also, we didn't check out Mystery Comics number 32. Mystery Comics was a series of comic books published in the early 1940s. Unlike many of its contemporaries, the characters did not have any superhuman abilities or powers. The stories focused on ordinary people caught up in peculiar circumstances and were always solved by the end of the issue. Issue number 32 contains your favorite case, the missing branch. On her deathbed, an old woman reveals that she had a secret child and demands that all of its descendants share in her immense wealth. Her estate lawyers are perplexed. Who are these new beneficiaries? Their only clue is a note they found on her dresser. Look closely at the family tree. It will all become clear. With only minutes to go before the will reading, her son-in-law decides to take her note literally and uses a powerful magnifying glass to scour the illustrated family tree in her mansion's library, revealing the missing branch. The woman had secretly hired an artist who specialized in tiny illustrations to make sure they were included, despite her evil father's attempt to stop her. You know the story's a bit far-fetched, but you can't help but love it. This is great. Is there anything else in the room to look up? I don't think so, right? Even like if I look up spider search? We looked up Pixpop when we did that. Yeah, I think Roottrees Are Dead. Not to be confused with a similar game, the Flute. Right, I've read this. Did I look this up? Oh! You're really doing this, aren't you? The Flutenies Are Bred. I got an achievement. Is a game about a fictional family of ducks who lives in Duckler County. Their three sons, the Fluteny brothers, accidentally offend a witch who turned them into bread. They're all then eaten by some of the other citizens of Duckler County. It's all quite grim. The player must identify all the ducks in the area, their lineage, and of course their occupations to find out, according to their slogan, which ducks killed the Flutenies. If you're looking for a hint for that game, I heard one of the ducks is a bank robber who goes by the name the Safe Quacker. There, I hope you're happy. Now go back to looking to the Roottrees. That's funny. Whoa, there's probably a bunch of like really hidden stuff. Just trying a bunch of shit, I wonder. Kind of metagaming, but this is how I would play the game anyway. I'm checking. No. No, there's nothing in the main like normal achievements that shows anything I should look up. I wonder if I just look up achievements. Achievement. What? Oh, that did work! You might find many results about people who've won Olympic medals, prizes for literature, and other major life accomplishments. Normally, you find comparing yourself to others is a pointless and frustrating path, but for some reason today, you feel special, almost as if you've achieved something yourself. You know you haven't actually done anything, but you can't deny the feeling is there. Pat yourself on the back and decide to move on. That's very Stanley Parable. That's funny. Okay, that's awesome. Let's go back to FamilyDoku for a second. Maybe I try to get this one and then we'll call it and then we'll pick it up on the next one. Okay, so we got a lot of owls. A little bit of hoots. So Wally Hoot Jr. definitely has to be father here. And that means your sister is going to be Mandy Hoot. That should be confirmed. You are married to a woman. An owl woman, very likely. So it's Alicia or Margaret. But if Margaret is there, that means I don't have enough people to put in the thing otherwise. So no, you're Alicia Owl. Cool. I can also have... I could figure that Alicia Rappaport would be your mother. Because there's no other Rappaports and your firstborn daughter would be Alicia. That makes sense to me. I have an Eric Owl, which I think is probable to be the patriarch, but even more strong is our David, Rod, and Amy. Owl Monroe. Monroe is the woman here. I have another owl son, figuring out what that is. Laura Twain. I don't have another Laura. I do have another Margaret, though. So this would be Margaret. Margaret Owl would be your daughter. You would be marrying a dude. Laura would be this person. They don't have a child. Eric Owl then makes sense because there's no other space for the junior relationship. Eric Owl Jr. Now it's just about order, right? So Bob, Eric, Quincy, Wilbur. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I think I don't want to get this episode too long. I do want to finish these, but I feel like those are going to be definitely harder. So I'm going to call this episode here and pick up in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. This is a weird episode, but I hope you enjoyed still. Like, that's as straight puzzle solving as it gets. So that's more than we've gotten a lot in this game. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, let's see you on the next one, and we'll solve more FamilyDoku and hopefully actually get into the Roottrees timeline. There it is. See you in the next one.